Welcome in, everyone. I hope everyone's relaxing and not in too much of a bind this day. If I could be anywhere, it would be on the beach somewhere. But I can't be. Not right now. Maybe one day soon. There's so much to talk about. I don't want to pretend that everything's fine in the world because we know that the world is a mess. Seems to be falling apart. But if it is, we're all falling apart. We look around us and see that parts are obviously already done. I think that the streets are more ugly rather than scary. The ugliness and the funk of it all. And you ask yourself, what would you do? Well, I think God let me experience all of these things that I see that are so ugly around the world right now. And in my darkest hours, I didn't give up because here I am. But I know that just existing is not living. Not truly living, it isn't. I've been homeless before. God knows I learned a lot while I was out there. There's quite a few things I wouldn't do while I was out there on the streets. I felt like God guided me while I was there. It's like He wanted me to be there. He wanted me to see the things I saw. He wanted me to experience what it was like to be in that position. And when you experience that and many other negative, unwanted desires of the world, when you come out on the other side, you don't judge people when you see them in that position. You can't draw a quick conclusion that fits every single person, because for every single person, there is a single story. You don't know, but you can find out. So be careful what you think. Guard your mind. Train your brain to think on a more positive note and to be humble and pray for those that are in the positions that they are in. They're not less fortunate. They're just in a bad position. Or maybe they don't realize. Maybe they didn't get the skills that they needed to come out of the situation. And they really are stuck like Chuck. And maybe they are waiting for someone to just show a bit of compassion. Who knows if God didn't put everyone there in these bad positions that we see for somebody to come along and help do a kind thing for it, just one single human. Because when you do something good, good comes back. But that's not the reason you do good. You do good because that's human. That's the way it's supposed to really be. And then I hear people say, you can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. That's not true. That's not true at all. Because for every person that you feel doesn't want to help themselves, somebody else can help them. So if you come along and you find someone you can't help, you move to another person. But you should always be in the motion of helping someone, not just yourself. Because that's what holds us together, whether you like it or not. You don't have to choose a side. You just have to choose. That's what it is. All the times I could have kept my mouth shut, I didn't, but I should have. Well, there's repercussions for that. There's a reaction. There is a reaction for every single action that you do. And you may not get a repercussion right away. It may not reciprocate to you right away. But somewhere down the line, if you live long enough, you reap exactly what you have sown. So be careful what you're sowing. Those sayings weren't just made up because they sound good. And they sound good because they make perfect sense. You may not see a gift that is being presented to you because it doesn't have shiny paper, ribbons, bows, beauty. All gifts aren't specially wrapped to be appealing. Most of the time, gifts don't come in a package like that anyway. And you just can't see it. You need to slow down and take each step that you take. Do it with purpose. For every word that comes out of your mouth, be careful. For every negative word that you say, none of us are perfect, but there is a reaction, and you will be the recipient. You will be the recipient of the reaction. And like I said before, you may not see it right away, but it's coming back to you tenfold. That's right. So, for every little thing that we do, if one of us falls, someone should pick somebody up. don't be the one knocking people down, because that's something that most of the time you're not going to come back from that. And what I mean is, you do evil deeds to someone, and the repercussion, the reverberation back to you, the comeback, the reaction could be detrimental to your brain. Yeah. It doesn't have to be equal to the bad that you've done to someone. Hell, the repercussion might be overwhelmingly way out of proportion to the little nasty thing that you've done to somebody. And you best believe, when it's come back to you, you know exactly where it come from. But look, I hear people say, I don't give to people when they out there and you know they're trying to collect money because they could get a job. You know what? In your heart, don't judge like that, because you might be wrong, and you never know when you're wrong on that. So what you're supposed to do is give from your heart, wholeheartedly, to someone who's asking, if they're not asking too much. Because you do the positive move, right? Now, what they do with the money you give them, it's up to them to do the right move with that. So it's off of you. Once you've done the right thing, that's all it is. That's the end of the line for you on that moment. But if you walk on by and you don't at least offer a kind word and a thought, or a prayer, or a smile, or a word of encouragement, then you have missed your opportunity to do a good, to do a positive, to do a solid, to do the right thing, to humble yourself. And you know, it doesn't even matter if I'm talking to myself, by myself. It doesn't matter. Because for me, it's good. Because I could do so many other things right now. But I've been going to some other channels and being on their live streams, up on their panel. And see, I don't look at the chat when I'm up on a panel, because I don't want some nasty words that may come my way to affect my ability to speak. On a panel. I'm not going to let nobody mess with that. See, you're in control of yourself on a panel. If someone disrespects you in the chat, let them go ahead, because that's their little nastiness, because they couldn't refrain. And I'm guilty of the very same thing. I have since repented for I repent daily, because even when you might be unknowing what you've done or said to someone that was not good for them. But if the world's falling apart, y'all, that means we're all gonna fall with it. No one is immune to that. So if you sit on the beach and you're enjoying the view and you're relaxed, well, that's not gonna last forever. That's not gonna last forever. Everything's subject to change, especially the weather. And as you know, even the tide turns. And every light day has a darkness sunset. And every dark night has a sunrise. We are in constant motion of change. Matter of fact, the only thing sure in life is change. So we ask ourselves, well, what can we do? What can we do? You can pray, and you can think on positive things, because we all put out a vibration. Maybe not a visual vibration that you can see, of course, but within your soul, you can have peace. And when you're in contact with another human, you can cause them, you can at least try to be an influence of positiveness. Yeah. This is gonna sound silly, but last night when I went out on my front porch, I had the camera rolling because I was gonna start my live. And I've still got that video up. The first 5 to 7 minutes is of a baby opossum. Now, you know, if you know anything about opossums, when they reach a certain age, they fall off of their mother and they're on their own. Well, that little possum, if you go look at the video, is smaller than 4-month-old, 5-month-old kittens. He's a baby. It's a baby. It doesn't know to be scared of me. It knows there's food and it knows to eat. So I didn't have the heart to take the food up so he couldn't eat. He's a creature. He's a baby. He has no one to guide him. And yes, nature takes care of itself. But that is presented in my face on my porch where I live. And I am aware of this baby that was born somewhere on my property. So that's just like seeing a homeless person. If you see them and you walk by and turn your face and don't even at least say a prayer or something of good thought or something, if you don't want to contact with them and talk to them, at least throw out a good instant prayer up for them. Positive thinking for them. God bless them. You know, something simple as that. It takes less than a split second for you to think that thought. Once you're aware of something, you're responsible for a reaction. Yeah, I would love, if some people would love to just think, it has nothing to do with me, it's not my business, it's not my problem. That's the problem. That's the whole problem right there. The entire problem. Because it's dividing, it's divisive, it's negative. Yeah, that's how we fall apart. Apart. We are constantly falling apart. But we are together. We all live here on this planet. It belongs to all of us. But we're still falling apart, even though we're together. It sometimes feels like it's gone so far that it can't be turned back. And it's going to take a great shaking to bring everyone's attention full focus, so everybody can have 2020. I believe even the blind will see it, and the deaf will hear it. Because something has to change. And like I said before, everything is subject to change. Just like the tide, just like the clouds, just like the sky, just like you. Be a positive human being in some way, shape, or form. If you're not, that's who I'm speaking to. You need to find somebody that you can speak a positive word to, because that's how you grow, and that's how you keep your positiveness, and that's how you keep it together instead of apart. We need to fall together, not apart. I have noticed today especially, and I forgot it was Sunday, that people were talking about we need to have the tough talks. We were talking about that last night over on D-Truth's channel with B-Rob and Papa something. But we're going to have them tough, we're going to have them discussions. If we could touch a few people, well, maybe those few people can touch a few people, and that's how it gets done. One person at a time. And it could take forever, but we have an eternity to live. We have an eternity, all of us. I plan on spending mine on that narrow road with my Creator. There's no way I'm letting anybody make me send myself to hell. No way. Not today and not now. Eternity. You need to start practicing your peace now. Because if you're not living in peacefulness in some kind of manner, you need to seek it and find it. Seek it and find it. I'm telling you now. You'll never find it arguing with people. You speak what you got to say. Either they hear it or they don't. Either they get angry or they don't. If you're lucky enough, they'll get happy. If you're lucky enough, if you stay on that positive tone, not the tone, but on that positive note, make it a challenge. If it's a challenge for you to bite your tongue off. If you feel froggy, cut your legs off. You don't need to jump. You need to sit still, because somebody is going to try to rob your peace. You know that. Just about the time you're doing good, somebody coming along for the down drag. Well, the world's falling apart, it seems. And that's not allegedly, because you can look around and see it if you go out. Go out there and walk around. You think you ain't got it made it. If you got a roof over your head, go out and walk around. You think you're starving because you ain't eaten, and maybe you skipped breakfast or lunch. Or you did a fasting 1 or 2 days. Oh, and you're starving. No, hell, you ain't. Everyone should experience starvation at least once in their lifetime. Everyone should experience hardship of every kind at least once. And if you understand the hardship and you get through it, yes, it will make you stronger. And if you learn from it, you won't do it again. That's insanity if you did. You'd be insane, or you're a glutton for punishment if you continue to do the same things, knowing you can change anything and everything in your life. I can't is the worst thing I can hear anybody say. You can't, or you won't, or you don't feel like it, or is is peace not worth it? Is serenity not worth it? Come on now, see? Or you can stay with the part that's pulling the world apart. All the negativity can't hold nothing together. Positive is where I live, and that's the bottom line. That don't mean I don't speak about some negative things that are going on. But I'm going to stop doing that too. I might just do some, well, that's real hard. That's a challenge. But you know what? I think I've been through enough challenges that I don't need any more. But that is the type of challenge that will actually make you spiritually stronger. Sometimes you can hear yourself talking, teaching somebody something, and it's like you're listening to yourself, and you can't understand why they can't see what you see, because their blinders are on. There's a veil of delusion over them. So I wasn't going to stay on here very long. I just try to get this type of thing in my mind's eye. Singular, my mind's eye. That's the pineal gland. Right above the bridge of your nose, in between your eyes. Right in the middle of your forehead. They call it the third eye. But see, it's not that one you see on the dollar bill. The pineal gland is your spiritual eye, so to speak. I'm not going to get into that, but you might have to do some research on that part about your pineal gland and spirituality. Look that up. I ain't trying to go on the deep ends right now. I just wanted to speak up on that, and it's a damn shame what's going on. Just stay strong. When you think you can't make it no more, well, keep going. Keep going until you literally die. But don't die not trying. Bottom line, the fight for humanity is on. Please keep your wits about you. Stay strong and know that God is in control. Hey, we're not supposed to live in paradise until this phase is over for us. We might be able to save it. We can save it together, or we can fall apart together.